Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com, and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, deep breath.
Yeah, really.
Here we go. Time to rip the Band-Aid off. It's been a few days. Arkansas's historic college baseball season over at the hands of the LSU Tigers. Some call it a choke job, a monumental collapse. I call it a 6-5 loss to a very good team. But let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Look, Tracy, I sat down with my boys. I watched every single pitch of this game. And for a game that looked like everything was going Arkansas's way, everything went wrong in the end. Because of course it did. It's Arkansas. Never won a national title. They're not going to do it this year either. But they allowed 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning in a gut-wrenching 6-5 decision. Hated rival LSU, now they're in the finals. They're going to take on Coastal Carolina this weekend. And Arkansas is left asking so many questions. The Razorbacks were 1 out away from winning and moving on to a winner-take-all, move on and face Coastal Carolina. Remember, they would have had to beat LSU twice, which is tough to do after the Tigers and the Razorbacks got lined up in round 1. No matter who lost that match, it was going to be difficult, such a difficult road to battle back, and then eventually you'd think you'd have to beat that team twice. In this case, it was Arkansas having to beat LSU twice. So close, but yet so far away. Shades of 2018. Baseball fans and media members alike are all asking the same question right now. Are the Omahogs cursed?
Well, and that's a word that comes up to mind, of course, with a lot of folks. But, really, a lot of it has to do with not necessarily a curse, but with styles. And I say styles because, as you've seen LSU countless times now win the national championship.
They're going for their second in 3 years.
Yeah, and been there before. And so curse style, I'm talking styles. And the style of play that they have is winning. That's the bottom line, is winning. And I'm not going to go into armchair, in this instance, coaching or anything like that. But there were times when there were certain things that I thought that could have been done different, which everybody has their opinion. I think that they played their hearts out. But at the same rate, coaching styles are most definitely different. And when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, our style of coaching is not producing the big win. And it's just that simple.
So obviously to break down 3 crucial mental mistakes with the highest stakes on the line. Your SEC Player of the Year, Vahiva Aloy, has an opportunity to make a game-ending double play. It is a routine ball to shortstop. There was nothing weird about it. It wasn't deep in the 6 hole where he had to backhand it and his momentum's taking him the other way. He opts to just go for the safe thing, get the force out at third. At the time, I was like, wait, what? But I was like, you know what? This guy is as good as it gets. He is a first-round MLB pick here in just 3 weeks or so?
Yep.
It's not the correct play. It is a mistake. It is an error, yes. But it was not necessarily a deal breaker there. Could have ended the game. That would have sealed the deal. But as we saw, where Arkansas ended up going ahead earlier in the game, it was on a double play ball that was dropped by the LSU first baseman. Maybe that's fresh in Aloy's mind. I'm not even going to try to guess what he was thinking at the time. This is a high-stakes matchup, and a young man, he's not a pro yet. He might be getting some NIL money. I'm sure that he probably is, but he's not a professional yet. In my eyes, he is still an amateur baseball player, a collegiate baseball player who still had to go to class and make the grades and do all the things and make sure his bed was made and his laundry was made. MLB players have people that do that for you.
Mark, here's the deal, though, what you're saying is these are young men, and they're going to make mistakes. And mistakes we're making, but we saw this in the UCLA game too, though, in the 9th inning.
Yes.
And what I'm questioning is, and I'm simply throwing this out there, when you're coaching at that high level, it obviously you don't point fingers because 3 come right back at you.
Yeah.
But there were certain aspects, and I'm still questioning why that Van Horn didn't go out and talk to those guys. But that's not his style, and I'm going back to this style. That's not his style.
It would be uncharacteristic for his character.
Well, and exactly. And that's why he's got a goose egg. You saw
Maybe
the coach for LSU going out. He went out, not to make a pitching change.
This is true.
He went out and calmed them down, and whatever his statement was that he made out there on the mound, obviously it worked because, generally, and I know this, 9 times out of 10 or 99 out of 100, when the head coach goes out, it's a pitching change, all right, or something of that nature.
Typically, yes.
But their head coach went out, and that's not a norm, but he said something out there that got their attention. And and I know that's not Van Horn's style, but obviously, Mark, something needs to change because that style's not working.
So there's been a lot of question in that regard, not necessarily after the Eloy play, but it was really after the Davalon play in left field, because moments later, and I've been taught this my whole life, I have seen this firsthand as a baseball player my whole life. The coaches always say mental errors are contagious, and it's not just a shtick that everybody uses. It's not just a cliche. It's real.
It's real.
It's real. That ball to Davalon, he made an error out in left field. He misjudged it off the bat. That ball's probably coming 105 miles an hour off the bat. You only have about this much time to make a decision on what you're going to do. Should he have not dove for the ball? Should he have turned the glove over instead? It was top down trying to make the play there. In that moment, and it's scary because you're diving headfirst towards a ball that's dying on the arc. It's dropping on a line drive in front of you. I mean, most guys, and look, I'd be a hypocrite if I said this. Most guys aren't thinking, I might need to stop this ball with my face just to make sure it doesn't go past me. That's typically not your first order of business. That's your last resort. Look, he had a split second. He didn't make the play. Now, I will say that I expected Dave Van Horn to go out following that play. Game is tied. Tying run on second. And as soon as that game got tied, I told my boys, I said, it's over. I said, that's it. That was the play. And then, of course, a hard hit ball bounces off the glove of the second baseman, and the center. It's done.
Right.
It's done. Everybody's crying. It's over. Now, Tracy, I know Alice will be mad at me if I don't mention this, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Can't believe I have to say this. Could alcohol be to blame? And I know the listeners are like, what are you talking about? Don't turn me off. Hang on. Last week we talked about a tradition. Rocco's, the Jell-O shot challenge.
Shots.
Now listen, I don't know if it's fate, if it's the baseball gods. I don't know if Arkansas is simply cursed. I don't know if it's just because Dave Van Horn's not the guy. I'm still a believer in DVH, by the way. But what I will tell you is I monitored the Rocco's Jell-O shot leaderboard quite heavily this week, which messed up my Facebook algorithm completely for a guy who, this is true, does not drink. LSU currently has a 15,000 shot lead over Coastal Carolina.
Well, they had the lead going into the Razorbacks.
And yes, they did. And history shows me, as stupid as the math is, the team that wins the Jell-O shot challenge in the past 5 years wins it all. So maybe it was fate. Maybe it was destiny. Maybe it's a curse. Maybe blame it on the alcohol.
Alcohol. All right, coming from your standpoint and coming from a guy who's maybe had a couple of Jell-O shots in his life, a couple only, I'm not going there, Mark. Okay, let's backstep and go back.
I'm just saying that the it's
you're a
bad,
numbers guy. I know
it's
that.
bad math, but the numbers are there.
No, that's good math.
And I'm sure someone back there, someone's listening to the radio right now. Is like, yeah, I love these guys.
Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Don't you dare.
Okay, that was good.
No, it wasn't.
That was. I'll take grape next time, or a pineapple, or what. Anyway, let's back up just a little bit. Look, let's not point fingers because I just said this a while ago. But once again, this happened. This is not the first time this has happened, Mark. In your guy, Van Horn's, which he's a great man and a great coach. But, that doesn't get the job done. And somehow, somewhere, somebody's going, look, we've seen this before. This is nothing new.
7 years ago.
Okay? Nothing new to this. And it happened the night before. Nothing new to this. UCLA almost came back. Did he go out there to the mound? Did he go out there and calm anybody down? And you're right, Mark. Stats whatever you want to call it. When somebody makes an error like that, it's not only contagious, but it's a fact. Other people get lackadaisical and they start looking and they start drifting. You see the first baseman make one that was a routine second base. That's a second base ball all the way. And then he throws the ball crazy. So this is, you can blame it on alcohol. You can blame it. Look, the bottom line is this is not the first time this has happened.
So we had a discussion on this show a year ago. Arkansas gets run out of town in its hometown in Fayetteville. Doesn't even get past the Super Regional at Baum-Walker Stadium. At that time, many were calling for the head of Dave Van Horn, saying, that's it. We have to make a change. Arkansas did not, and we both agreed that we needed to give it one more year and reassess afterward. This year, they got past that Super Regional hump. They made it to the World Series. They fell short against a good LSU team, a team that, in my opinion, probably will win it all over Coastal Carolina. But now that it's been a year, Arkansas technically got better. They brought in great talent. This is one of the best Razorback teams. You might even make the argument that this was the best Razorback team in baseball program history. But now, how are you feeling? It's been a few days. I know the wound is still fresh. It is not healed, and it will not heal probably until the postseason of next year. Are you asking Razorback Nation to finally make a change?
Well, they should be asking some questions, but Mark, that cut was a lot deeper than just a Band-Aid.
This one hurts more. I think even more, though, even more so than the 2018 dropped foul ball.
Well, we're going to have a couple more surgeries, and it's going to take more than a Band-Aid. Maybe a couple of surgeries to get fixed again, Mark, because I guarantee you this is not over by no means. Are you wanting to get some input on the fans, maybe?
I mean, I'd love to hear from the fans. I'm a little worried about what the texts are going to say, but that's okay. You can text us.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Let us know your thoughts on what the Razorbacks should do next, because Aloy most likely going into MLB draft. I say most likely. Little bro is still there, and he didn't necessarily have a great College World Series. I imagine, eventually they may split up and part ways. It's very unlikely that they end up on the same MLB team, but it could happen. But eventually, you assume they're playing for two different ball clubs somewhere across America. But should the Razorbacks make a change? They're likely going to lose a lot of talent. We're going to talk about that more here in a second. Is it time to replace the head coach? And I'm going to, if the answer is yes, I'm going to go ahead and ask the next question. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to find?
No.
Our text number, 501-915-1300. Okay, it's not all doom and gloom.
No.
There were some really positive moments from this Razorback run.
We had a heck
and
of a
none
pitcher.
more positive than Mr. Gage Wood.
Yes.
A 19 strikeout no-hitter. This was a guy that was a top 50 draft pick in the upcoming draft on July 16th.
Whew.
I believe that he has greatly increased his odds to go much higher. He has greatly increased his odds to have a bigger payday, an epic performance. The third no-hitter in College World Series history. 19 strikeouts, incredible. And of course, at the end of the game, how do you feel? Gage, you just did this historic thing. How do you feel? I wish I didn't hit the guy. I'm sorry that I hit the guy. A perfect game, a lone blemish, a hit by pitch on top of the shoestrings.
Man. And then another questionable call, which was the right call, though, too, Mark, though. But still, though, and then what a classy guy by going and talking to his buddy, right? So, and that was the highlight of the Razorback run.
And you know what? I know people are talking about Arkansas right now for what they didn't do, but they're also having a conversation about the things that they did do. A young man born and bred right here in Arkansas, a Batesville pioneer, and as soon as that game was over, he had, flexed to the chest the word Arkansas across his jersey. He knew what that meant to the state. He knew what that meant to his community back home and to everybody, whether you're a diehard Razorback fan or you're kind of like a bandwagon fan like I am this season. It has been an incredible effort. Gage Wood with a performance that may be difficult to beat, a 19K no-hitter, nearly a perfect game. That was incredible to watch.
And that's one they'll be talking about forever and not the loss.
And I think that he's going to be enjoying.
Yeah.
You know, I see originally I think he was supposed to go like 50th to maybe like the Astros or something. And now they're talking about the Mets coming in at like 21 or 38. I'm just glad it's not Houston. Please don't let it be Houston. Now, I joked with my kids. I joked with my kids because my wife had to remind me we're watching this Arkansas LSU game. Remember, you're not a Hogs fan. I know, but I'm a White Sox fan. And why does that matter? Well, the White Sox have Hagen Smith, who I thought was going to be insanely hard to replace this year. But look at the level of pitching that came in. But the White Sox are trending to be very bad this year, in case you've been living under a rock. And one of these Hogs may end up joining Hagen Smith in the south side of Chicago, and that is something for me to be excited about.
Could make a difference, but we want to congratulate that young man on an unbelievable night of performance. But and there's some positive things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the Debbie Downer, but there's still some work to do. And we got a lot of work to do here still.
There's a lot of show to do. We have some excellent topics to discuss this week. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're back in a moment. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. We're live on KVRE.com and on iHeartRadio. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, the NBA Finals are going to Game 7. For the first time since 2016, when LeBron James' Cleveland Cavaliers roared back to stun Golden State in one of the greatest NBA Finals games, if not the greatest NBA Finals game of all time. Look, before this postseason series began, OKC was the favorite to win it all. But after a Game 6 win on Thursday, the Indiana Pacers are shouting, okay, see ya in Game 7. See what I did there?
Well, yeah, obviously.
It's funnier in my head.
I was going to
A crushing 108-91
Keep your
blowout.
keep your day job.
Which one? At Gamebridge Fieldhouse, Indiana did the unthinkable, forcing a best-of-7 series winner-take-all in Oklahoma Sunday night. This all coming after Pacers superstar Tyrese Halliburton suffered a calf strain in Game 5, and they weren't even sure that he was going to play on Thursday night. The problem for OKC is that seemingly no one told Halliburton that he was hurt, because he surged for 14 points and 5 assists in just 23 minutes of play. He said, look, you are not going to keep me off this court. We're not losing because of me. He had a very lackluster game in Game 5, of course, taken away due to injury as well. But now Game 7 is in Oklahoma City. And despite the finals featuring two smaller market teams, it has featured many exciting moments. What we do know is that one of these teams is going to host the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the first time at the end of the night on Sunday. Will the Thunder celebrate their first title on their home floor, or can Indiana repeat history from Game 1 to get it done?
Mark, and here's the bottom line is, and you and I have talked about this previously, the bench, and which made the difference, the other night, and has made the difference in the finals. I mean, it's just that simple. OKC, they've got their 6-7 guys. Pacers, man, they've got 10, and they utilize them all. It's now the rotation isn't the same all the time, but that's what they did the other night and it was a blowout. I mean, simply a blowout. But and you're right, Halliburton made the big difference. I mean, he wasn't the lead scorer, but you could tell just the aura that his presence made. Everybody was around him, and you could just tell the difference. Some of his key shots that he made, some of the steals that he made, but that was the difference maker right there. The bench. At one point, it was 18 points to 2 points, and of course, then they did a whole different lineup coming out the second at the halftime, when I think they went scoreless for 6 or 7 minutes or something like that. It was unbelievable, and those guys were all fresh. And then they rotated out, and they just blew. I mean, it was simply the wolf at the straw house. It's just that simple.
You mentioned the depth. In Game 6, Indiana had 7 players make at least 1 3-pointer. I mean, they're spreading the wealth well. And they became the first team in NBA history to have at least 8 players score at least 200 points in a postseason. You want to talk about depth? That is a balanced attack, and that's the attack that's made the Pacers such a tough opponent to beat. Tracy, I'm going to be honest with you. After the injury to Halliburton in Game 5, I was sure that the Pacers were done. He's down, calf strain, Game 6 in doubt. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. But Halliburton proved me wrong. And so did the home crowd of Indiana, which has been electric all postseason long. I mean, it's filled with celebrities. Caitlin Clark's there rallying the crowd. I mean, for me, look, I picked the Pacers to win it all at the beginning of the postseason. I'm happy to be wrong. And to me, the fact that Indiana is here for the final battle, the fact that they forced a Game 7, tells me that this team, even if Halliburton's not 100%, this team has what it takes to cross the finish line as champions. Will they? I don't know. When we also talked about the beginning of this series, you said it. You said, I don't really know if home court advantage is really an advantage here. And it turns out that you were right here, because the Pacers were able to win Game 1 in OKC. OKC was able to steal a game from the Pacers in Indiana. I mean, this is really a toss-up here. I know it's in Oklahoma City on Sunday, but the way that the Pacers just rallied back, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close in the blowout win. Now, but what I will tell you is that when you look at games 1 through 6 and you add up all the points, some games were a little bit more lopsided than others. But when you add all the points together, only 7 total points separate the Pacers and Thunder entering Game 7. 7. That's it.
Do you work at Vegas? Is your other daytime job? Because that's the number. You ready for this? That's the number going into Sunday night. It's 7 points in favor of Oklahoma City.
Vegas, give me a call.
Okay. MGM. Okay.
Call me.
Caesars. You got Mark on the line. Okay. But we said also, it was going to go 7 games. I mean, now they were favored 6 the other night in the blowout. So I don't know if you want to work at Vegas or not. But anyway, the point I'm making is it's really been a great series, but I just think the depth, and I've been slapping you on the back the whole time, and you know that. Giving you high fives, knuckles, and everything else because you've been on the Pacers bandwagon the whole time, which I've been giving you credit for. But I think the whole essence is the bench has made the difference when they show up, and I think, we're going Game 7, and I know they get rest 2 and 3 days, and they get to fly around, but I'm telling you what, they play. And if you've watched, a lot of emphasis on Game 3 or 4, 72 fouls.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's been physical.
And everybody said, enough's enough. The refs have just, they're ruining the game. Well, now they're letting them play. Because I'm going to tell you what, I saw a couple, it looked more like a scrum from down under than a basketball game for the pros.
And I could see the Thunder players getting pretty upset with that as well.
Oh, my gosh.
SGA is the league MVP, and he was getting absolutely manhandled out there.
Oh, it was horrible, Mark.
And look, you want to talk about collapses? Maybe that's the hidden theme of the show this week. Oklahoma City could not have looked worse in Game 6. Remember, a win, they close it out. They could have closed it out and had the trophy and had all the celebration. They'd already have the parade by now. But SGA had a postseason career-high 8 turnovers. And they were all over him all night long. Indiana has figured out the secret to stopping the league MVP. And maybe it's something that you fix in a couple of days. I guarantee this comes down to coaching. Who wins this game on Sunday, it's going to come down to the better coach because the players are great. SGA is great. He deserves to be MVP. Tyrese Halliburton is, you want the textbook definition of a rising star right now. And he's going to be a face in this league next year, and he's earned it.
No,
Game
Mark,
7.
Hey, you're right on that coaching. I'm going with you on that one. I think you're right. Pulling them off the bench. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah.
On the bench.
It's needing to know when to call timeout.
Right.
It's needing to know when to sub, and it's needing to know when to pull.
And what about the questionable call the other day in the first half when you usually don't use one of those? When he used one of his, let's take a look at it, his challenges.
Yeah.
And it came through because he didn't even touch him.
Yeah.
He wasn't even close to him.
No.
And they say they don't use those in the first half. He used one.
Hey, listen, this series has been physical. This series has been a lot of fun to watch as well. I know it's two small market teams. I know Boston's nowhere to be found. I know the Lakers are nowhere to be found. I know Dallas or San Antonio or anybody else. Any of the big market teams are nowhere to be found here. Definitely not the Knicks. They're still looking for a coach, by the way. They did not call Mike Malone.
I know that. You were.
I'll lose track of this entire show if I go down that rabbit hole.
Let's not.
But how upset I am over that situation, there's no words. There's no words. Game 7, man, there's nothing like it. It's the first time since 2016. It's been 9 years. I think this one's going to be a fun one. I think that whoever wins is absolutely going to deserve it. I think it's going to come down to the best coaching moves in this one because the players have proven that they've got what it takes to get it done. I'm sticking with the Pacers. I've been there since day one of the postseason. I know I called them a dark horse, but now they're looking like Seabiscuit out there. I do believe that Indiana is going to get it done because it's so hard whenever you have that opportunity to close it out and you whiff and you give your opponent new life. It's so hard to put it back together whenever the other team is in a dead sprint and you're trying to start from square one.
Well, and down the court they come with the Pacers, and we'll see about that one. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to flip a coin right before tip-off on Sunday night, Mark, to be honest with you, and go from there. And no, I did
Lame.
not. But I'm still trying for some tickets, okay? I'll be in Florida, but I'll still try to get you some tickets, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
But you got to pay for your own parking.
No.
But anyway, okay. This is for a soda pop. Ready for this one? Or Jell-O shot? Which one?
Oh, yeah. Really funny, Tracy. You can have mine.
I'm going to the Thunder. You got your Pacers. I'm going Thunder. This is for a Jell-O shot.
Okay.
You don't have to. It could be non-alcohol Jell-O shot.
Yeah. I could just eat some Jell-O pudding or whatever.
Why don't you call an LSU fan?
I'm so much fun at parties.
They probably know much. Yes.
I'm a really good driver.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a valuable resource these days. Maybe you need to. That's a twofer you could do in Vegas.
Yeah. Hey,
drive during the day. And
that's right. And I might make just as much money as a DD.
Just doing that. Oh, we got a lot more guys.
Missed my calling.
Yeah.
All right. More Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition coming up in a moment. Don't go anywhere. 92.9 at KVRE.
It's third quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Tracy, we're talking about championships, whether it's the Men's College Baseball World Series, it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, one championship, one postseason that we actually haven't even had the chance to mention this summer is now in the books, and for the second year in a row, the Florida Panthers have conquered the NHL landscape. They've defeated the Edmonton Oilers in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, and the Panthers, once again, are kings of the NHL, hoisting the Stanley Cup. Back-to-back crowns for the Panthers, this time in 6 games after last year's 7-game Classic Series. After 3 consecutive appearances in the finals, Florida, in my opinion, has officially achieved dynasty status.
It's amazing, to be honest with you, what they've developed down there as far as not only a following, and not just in that one little area, but the whole state has taken them in, and it's crazy. You can't go anywhere, and I've talked to a couple of my associates down that area that with radio guys and TV media, and it's amazing the status of these guys. And you would think they were like Miami Dolphins from '73 or something. You know what I mean? It's amazing. I mean, especially Sam Bennett. I mean, it's crazy the onslaught that they've got, and just billboards and buses and everything. I mean, you cannot turn around where there's not something. And people wearing their jerseys. You know what the markup just went after this was over? Unbelievable. You ought to see. Amazon went crazy. So I'm just telling you right now. But now you got the likes of all these MVP guys that have been there. Sam Bennett's, just the newest one on their list. But the stock for that company, knowing the owner, what he paid to get it there, and now what it's worth, talk about a smart businessman. Wow.
Talk about a smart team as well. So I don't know how much that you or our listeners buy into superstitions, but I remember in year number one, if you look at this as a 3-year dynasty run, 3 straight appearances in the Stanley Cup Finals. In year number one, the Panthers did something that led the team to believe that they might be cursed because they ended up losing that Stanley Cup Final, and that was clutching the Prince of Wales trophy after winning the Eastern Conference Finals. So that's the trophy for just, winning the East. It's not the Stanley Cup Final for winning the whole league. But after that, and after the disappointment of winning year one, they most notably won the Eastern Conference last year, and we're going to face Edmonton in the finals, and stayed far away from the Cup. It paid off for them. They won the Stanley Cup Finals. This year, when they won the Eastern Conference Finals over Carolina, they did the exact same thing. Nobody went near the Cup. Nobody laid a finger on it. The superstition, hey, maybe it's real because Florida on top again. You could make the argument that they never left at this point, but the Panthers get it done 5-1 and just an overwhelming victory in Game 6. 357 days after their last cup-clinching win, and it was all thanks to their trio of veteran centers. They were the difference throughout the series. Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, they took turns playing hero in the earlier games of the series, but on Tuesday night, it was the 11-year veteran Sam Reinhart. It was his night to lead the team back to the promised land. He got the scoring started in the first period with a huge individual effort, taking the puck away from one of the Oilers players and just beating the goalie to the back of the net. Later on in the game, another one to really kind of ice things there on the ice. The 29-year-old has solidified himself as one of the best in the game right now. And what an effort by this team as it continues to prove that it's the best of the best in the NHL.
Oh, and from the very get-go, the way that Viola, formed this whole team once he became, the big part of it, it's a group that bought into this for $250 million, and now they're worth about a little over $1.5 billion or whatever. And it was a group. But his background, knowing and coming from New York, knowing how important that a new kind of sport, and I say new for Florida, I mean, you don't think of ice when you think of Florida generally.
Definitely
not. But knowing what the potential could be and going out and getting these Bennett's of the world and stuff like that, and knowing how important it would be to be the big dog. And, of course, Tampa Bay, the Rays, I mean, think of all the other sports that are in Florida right now that had this similar beginning, okay? But you go to Viola, who, part of this Sunrise Sports Entertainment, big time. He knew how valuable it would be to get some big names in there. And I don't mean, the ones that are on everybody's front page, but get the guys that know how to play, get the guys that are really hungry. And he's been able to do that, and that's what the winning essence has been all about. You get a combination like that, and yeah, you get lucky every once in a while. There's no doubt. But he had that past, with the sports franchises in New York, and he knows what it's like to be in a big market. Well, guess what? When you and I talk about the markets all the time, well, he's got a market right now all on his own. And trust me, his stock and the team stock and everybody's stock just went up tremendously.
All in the market of Sunrise, Florida, just north of Miami.
Yes.
One of the warmest places in the entire United States, kings of the ice. Now, Reinhart's performance in the Stanley Cup Finals is one that's going to be studied for a while. The offensive explosion, he had 7 total goals during the series. He's the first player to net 7 goals in a Stanley Cup Final since Wayne Gretzky. 40 years ago. Hey, the Conn Smythe Trophy, it's awarded the MVP of the postseason. It went to Bennett. He scored a league-leading 15 goals in the playoffs, had 22 total points. And for Edmonton, you want to talk about curses and collapses? Here we go. 3 straight segments. We're on a roll here. A second loss in as many years for Edmonton also extends another huge streak in the hockey world. It is now 32 years since a team from Canada has won the championship in its own national winter sport. The Montreal Canadiens were the last franchise from north of the border to hoist this Stanley Cup trophy 32 years ago.
Man, oh man. Now, I guess the question now already, can they three-peat?
I mean, you can compare this team to the Kansas City Chiefs of the world. My argument will always be the same. In fact, River actually asked me this week. He said, Dad, it's June. Are the Eagles still the best team in football? I said, well, yes. And I mean, until somebody dethrones them, until somebody takes the trophy, whether it's taking it from them in the Super Bowl, or maybe they just don't make it at all and can't defend it. But in my opinion, yes, it's theirs to lose. It's Florida's to lose. Florida is absolutely the place to play right now for anybody, on the trading block. Their contract is up. Florida holds all the marbles. They hold all the dollars, all the negotiating power right now to continue making this club an absolute powerhouse for the sport.
No, there's no doubt about that. And there's something special. Florida's just hopping right now, Mark. I'll be honest with you.
Yes, it is.
And the looks right now, and of course, the sky's the limit for this team. Now, my question is, just like any professional team, and are they going to stay together? Because you just said right now, how valuable are they right now? You know what I'm saying? And because, to be honest with you, several of the guys that were on this team last year are still on it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And that was the key to winning it this year.
Well, because you want to see if you can do it again, right? You have this chip on your shoulder that you have to prove, I guess, to the social media commenters that your success was not a fluke, right? Because social media, we've talked about it multiple times on this show, can just be just so toxic and so painful to have to endure. But yes, they proved that their success was not a fluke. Now you get to the stage where your question's a valid one. Will they stick together? Because, okay, you've won 2 titles in a row. And at that point, everybody who doesn't have a ring wants to get a ring. But what happens when you just start winning rings over and over and over? There's not really much else to achieve in the game unless you're on a path to maybe take down records, or you're in the discussion to try to be like the GOAT, like the Ovechkins of the world or the Gretzkys of the world. I don't necessarily know that Florida Panthers players are in that discussion right now. No. But at this point, players might come to a realization, well, I've got rings. I'm probably married. And I've probably got these championship rings. Eventually, I'm not going to have a whole lot of finger space left. What's more valuable to me? More hardware that I don't know how to fit on my hands? Or who's going to give me more money?
Bigger boat. You're in Miami already.
I mean,
bigger boat.
We talk about football in terms of danger and injury and concussions and things like that. Hockey has the same thing. It's just on ice. It's just a little bit cooler.
Yeah, well,
literally, figuratively.
Bada-boom.
I don't know if concussions are cool. Losing gas, I guess. But
better dental plan.
Well, here's the deal. Long-term NHL players have very similar long-term issues after their playing days are over as NFL players do. And, you might need that extra money to pay some of the medical bills and potential CTE and all the other things. And, so money talks. Money talks, especially whenever you've already proven that you're the cream of the crop, you're the king of the league, and you've got nothing else to prove to anybody else.
Well, we'll go down this path a little bit later on, because last time this happened, three-peat Islanders back in 80 to 83 did it, and so it's been a day or two since it's happened, and the possibility is there. And just like I said a while ago, the owner connection, where's he from? New York. What was his old favorite team? The Islanders. Mm-hmm. Connection here? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Twilight Zone? Mm-hmm. Or you're maybe? I don't know. We got a lot more going on.
Tonight, the arena will be rocking at Bank OZK in Hot Springs. The Wise Guys are back in town. We'll talk about it when we come back right here on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. Tracy, they've got the radio on right now in Bank OZK Arena, and they are listening. The Hot Springs Wise Guys are hard at work this morning, preparing the arena for tonight's home showdown against the Ozark Lunkers. They had a pretty cool marketing strategy. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. On Facebook, they said, hey, we need help putting the field together. Come on out at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. Help us put the field together. Free tickets for the game. Love that. Love that. Pre-game party begins at 7 o'clock tonight. out on the arena concourse. It's also First Responders and Medical Personnel Appreciation Night. Throw off 8:05 p.m. against the Ozark Lunkers. The Wise Guys bounced back with a huge road win in Duluth, Minnesota last week. They took down the reigning Arena League champs, the Harbor Monsters, 43-31. Battling back into the win column after its first loss of the season was paramount, according to quarterback Jordan Ambrose, who helped hand Duluth its first loss of the season. The Wise Guys, in their first year of arena football, are now tied for first place in the league heading into tonight's showdown against the Lunkers, who hail from Springfield, Missouri. Tracy, Bank OZK Arena will be rocking later tonight.
No doubt about that. And they have put together, you've seen some changes. I've looked in the stats so far. There's a little bit, and of course they're early in the season. You're going to make changes, okay? New team, new coach, new progression on as who to put in where and what and where. There has been a few changes, also some injuries too, unfortunately. But if you recall that the loss that they had, it was on a short week, okay? So they're turning things around and putting new positions in and key positions. And look, here's the bottom line. These guys obviously have never played most arena football, okay? So you've got to get acclimated to it. Okay, this is their first time. You had a couple of veterans come in that had played arena football before, but not as a whole, not as a team, okay? And that makes a big difference when you're playing on a shorter field, different rules and regulations. There's a growing, so to speak, spurt right there, and you got to reel it all in. And you saw that in the last game when they were able to overcome. And I think coach is he's figuring out his players, which any good coach does. Once you see the film, once you see what they're capable of doing, you make adjustments. And that's exactly what he's done. He's made adjustments. And you and I talk about that all the time, even when we're calling games at halftime. What adjustments are they going to make? What are they going to do here? Well, he made adjustments last time. And if they stick to that game plan, I don't see why they don't come out with a W tonight. They've developed themselves into a skilled team. Once again, a little bit of one receiver, unfortunately, getting a little bit of a banged up knee. Probably not going to play tonight, but as it is, they've got other guys filling in for him. But I think that's the key to it right there. Adjustments, Mark. And so far, this coach has been able to make those adjustments. And you talk about scoring. No problem scoring, which we talked about at the beginning of the year. This style of football, arena football, that's what they do. They score. There's not a lot of defense. I mean, there is, but don't get me wrong. But it's a quick game. It's a fast-paced game, and there's a lot of scoring. And that's what you got to do.
7-on-7, very similar to what we saw in eight-man football with Mountain Pine and Cutter and Fountain Lake. Mm-hmm. And hey, tickets are still available for tonight's game. You can go to hotspringswiseguys.com and get your tickets. I've talked to a lot of people, and they didn't go to the home opener because they're like, well, I'm going to kind of feel it out. I might watch the live stream. I'm not sure. But everybody that I talked to that watched the live stream was like, wow, they looked like they had a lot of fun. It felt like a party atmosphere. It was a very family-friendly atmosphere. I mean, kids getting, I guess you call them foul balls.
Foul balls. They got to get those back.
And all the autographs, meeting the players. Look, hats off to this marketing team and this marketing department, by the way, because the Wise Guys are everywhere in the community right now. They have these weekly shows at local restaurants. They're out in the community, and these guys, I had a chance to meet them. Of course, they're over at NPC quite a bit. Some of the most respectful young men that you'll meet at this stage. They know what this means, not only to them to continue their playing careers. They know what this means to the city of Hot Springs. And if anybody had any doubts of, is this the right thing for Hot Springs? I'm not so sure. Go out to the arena tonight. They're expecting more than 3,000 fans, which will almost be nearly double of what they had in game number 1 at home. It is an exciting atmosphere, and it is worth it. The tickets are not very expensive at all. I believe I'm looking on my computer right now, $10.
Yeah,
I think it's $10.
Nominal,
easy.
Man.
Well, I mean, you can't even go get a combo meal at a fast food restaurant for $10, right? Get yourself some high quality entertainment. Get yourself some cool souvenirs. Make some great memories as well, because Hot Springs, not only tied for first in the league right now, has a chance to win the league in year number 1. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. You take a couple of kids, even going, to the concession stand and everything like this is nominal. You're going to pay this much and maybe more going to another event in Hot Springs. So why not do it? Grab the kids. And like Mark said, it's very family friendly and kids are running around. It's a great atmosphere. And is there a bad seat in the house anywhere? No, you're right there on top of it.
No, there's not.
You're literally right there.
And of course, you want to be field level if you can, but, up higher up, and I wouldn't even consider them nosebleeds, but
Right.
if you think about the higher seats being the nosebleed seats, that may be the better view in the arena, honestly, because you get that bird's eye approach like you see whenever you watch an NFL game.
You see everything. You're right there. You're boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
And with my son involved in T-ball over at Majestic Park, when we got named to the All-Star team, one of the kids showed up in a Wise Guys jerseys, and let me tell you something, the other 12 kids on the team were like, Dad, I want one of those. And my son was like, Dad, I want one of those. So now I got to go buy a Wise Guys jersey. It will not be the worst investment I ever make, I promise you that. But speaking of baseball, the Majestic Park All-Stars are on the Arkansas stage this weekend. They're in Bryant for the state tournament and a trip to the national tournament on the line. Want to give a big shout out to Coach Curtis George and all of the Majestic Park T-Ball All-Stars. River and his buddies, they're back in action 4:30 today in pool play, hoping to take down the tournament tomorrow to secure a trip to Monroe, Louisiana for the national tournament coming up in July. The World Series is right around the corner, and of course, the Babe Ruth World Series is on the horizon. And as a reminder, the 14-year-old Babe Ruth World Series will be held right here in our own backyard, Majestic Park. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. And I'm telling you this in June because you need to know this in June. If you wait until August, you might have to look from across the street over there on Belding to see if you can get in.
Oh, man, great event. And, of course, they've done so much with this. And hey, being able to get this away from Oklahoma is something special. We talked to the director the other day, and this is a huge event, Mark, and you know as well as I do, it's going to sell out, and there will not it is going to be packed over there. I promise you that.
You want to get your tickets early if you want to see this. It's the best of the best, and 14U teams all across the world are going to be here in Hot Springs. MajesticPark.org. Tournament passes are $50 for those 18 and over, $30 for ages 7 through 17. Kids 6 and under get in free. The World Series begins August 8th. On Babe Ruth Field at Majestic Park, and a huge pregame activities. They're going to unveil the Majestic Park World Series Village, the giant mural banner, by the way, that they were talking about. Yep. I saw it this week. Has Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani, and another youngster there, the future of baseball here, not only in Hot Springs, but just in baseball legend. It's pretty cool. You've got to go by and see it at Majestic Park this week.
Big shout outs already for this last week. U.S. Open champion J.J. Spawn taking it. Congratulations. Young man that said he was going to do it sooner or later, and he got it done on Father's Day.
Want to give special thanks to the Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation for an amazing team camp this week at Majestic Park in Hot Springs. There's no one like Lance Reston, who braved the heat with 6 Arkansas Travelers players. I had the opportunity to play catch with a young man during the throwing drills who didn't have a throwing partner due to odd numbers, so I stepped in, played catch with him. Tracy, when I tell you that this 6-year-old young boy had an arm on him, and I mean he can throw farther than I can at age 38, incredible. The future of baseball in Arkansas is bright.
No doubt about that, man. Great show, brother.
That's our show. We're here every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. We'll see you next week.
Oh, Mark, that's it. Game over.